Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live, going to talk swimming today, military swimming, as there is a difference. In fact, I'm going to explain the hierarchy that is swimming because I'll very often, sometimes I'll post some swimming videos and it is inevitable. Some 15-year-old swimmer who's been swimming in Speedos for the last 10 years is going to critique and be quite rude about the swimming lessons that I am giving non-swimming athletes who are preparing to swim in cold, dark, murky water. Um, and there's just a difference. You don't need to look at a black line all day to be a Navy SEAL or any Spec Ops diver for that matter. And in fact, you can be a land athlete and never touch the water. And with a good several months of swim training, you can be Spec Ops ready. In fact, some of my favorite swimming coaching stories are up there with guys coming off a D1 4-year football program, you know, strong, fast, needs to work on endurance, not only in the pool, but also running, needs to work on some muscle stamina, but really they've got all the strength, speed, and agility that a person can need after multiple years of doing that. So, after a few months and some technique training, these guys go on to do quite well. And treading may get them, but they learn how to tread. Um, so, you don't have to be a competitive swimmer or water polo player or whatever other aquatic athlete to go do these jobs. In fact, if you are, you'll find that you come in with some significant weaknesses like not understanding how gravity affects your body and load bearing, running impact forces. All of those usually crush most swimmers. So let me explain to you the hierarchy of swimming. So you have kids who swim around summers, and they play Marco Polo, and that's your swimming history. So that is a level of history. Boom, right there. You have um, kids who are non-swimming athletes that apply for um, spec ops jobs, and now they're slowly learning how to swim and the and tread and do other water skills, underwater, drown proofing, all of those things. So it's a process of that. Then you have anything from probably 12 years old, competitive swim team clubs that are above that level. And then you have, high school, college, competitive swimmers, Olympics, all that. So as you can see in the hierarchy of swimming, Spec Ops swimming is just above kids who play Marco Polo and kids who are 12-year-olds on a swim team. In fact, whenever we are swimming in our pool and this is me too, swimming up against 12, 13-year-old kids on a swim team, they are lapping us pretty embarrassingly. But at the same time, I'm not racing some kid on a swim team. I'm still swimming at 8-minute 500, but they could probably do, I don't know, 700 in 8 minutes. I mean, they're that freaking fast. So don't sweat it if you've never done any swimming before. You just have to get in the water and practice. And there are skills that I think a lot of people neglect going into any military job. Even guys that are going army that don't need to learn how to swim, they still need to learn how to fall in the water with all your gear, take your gear off, and survive carrying your gear back to land. Um, that is something that could happen, and many people drown because they don't know how to get out of their gear when they sink to the bottom. So, there are water skills regardless of your job in the military that you have to do. A lot of, if you're in the diving, rescue swimmer world, yes, you're going to have an advanced level of swimming, and not only just swimming, just water confidence, because the pools eventually turn into the ocean and bays and rivers, and those are unforgiving. Whether you're dealing with waves or tides or currents, um, darkness, cold, those are unforgiving environments that your ability to remain calm, do your job, get things done, come out alive, that is military swimming. So it is night and day as far as ability is concerned as a swimming athlete compared to a spec ops swimmer. Now, we do get pretty good at swimming, and we could use swimming as a tool for exercise. I still swim. I probably swim about 10,000 meters a week. Yeah, that's roughly 2,000 to 2,500 a day, 4 to 5 times a week, and that's a good workout for me. Now, a competitive swimmer may do that in a day. So, once again, night and day, and not necessarily something that you need to be able to do. In fact, one of the worst things that I have seen over the years is when somebody who comes in from a D1 level athletic ability. So I'm going to put everybody into this group: swimmers, cross country runners, football player, lacrosse player, lifters, right? And what they are trying to do is focus on maybe having the best swim or the best run or the best PT scores or best lifts on human performance tests that has ever been in the pipeline. Well, I will tell you this: nobody cares how you do on the PST. As long as you have good enough numbers on the PST, great. But if you come in there and you spend all your time trying to get a 5 minute swim, or you're trying to do a 7 flat run, mile and a half, you're trying to do 150 push-ups, 150 sit-ups, and 40 pull-ups, there's probably something else you're neglecting. And where I've seen this happen and people fall apart is swimmers do that and they still can't run a 10-minute mile and a half. Um, Runners do that and they still can't do 10 pull-ups, um, or can't even swim, 11 minutes. So, you come into this journey with a certain number of strengths and weaknesses, and it is your job to assess those, understand, hey, this strength I have is really good compared to the world of spec ops pipeline training. I don't really need to focus on this and try to get this better. I just need to kind of maintain it and work on all these other weaknesses, because I promise you, your weaknesses will be exposed on day one of any spec ops military training. It's just going to happen. So you neglect your weaknesses at your own peril. And some people don't even know they have weaknesses because they didn't try to practice treading. That's a big one too. You go see a dive prep program, people are getting decimated by just treading water. They can't tread. They can't do it with no hands, and they can't do it with weight, and they fall apart. So that's my story on military swimming. Hope that makes sense for you. I will take some questions. But before I do, I'm going to show 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got about 5 videos here I want to show you guys, and I'll critique them. You guys can ask specific questions to this guy's swim. You can ask questions that have nothing to do with swimming. Don't really care. This is a live Q&A focusing on military style fitness training and the journey of going from civilian to military life. So let's share, shall we? Not sure what this one does. I think this one has a weird. Um, they have. I think somebody moved the camera funny on this one, as I recall. Let's see how this looks. So you guys can see this one. All right, so he's going to kick off the walls. Got a little dolphin kick in here. Oh, somebody turned sideways here. See what's going on. Ah, this is good. Top arm, bottom arm. Oh, short pull. Let's see. It's hitting a 25-yard pull. Oh, there he goes. You see it? What? Notice that top leg. What's happening? See that top leg? It's going backwards. I personally like to have my top leg go forward on either side. Now, what would be really interesting to see is if he switches sides, does his top leg go forward? Then that tells me he is swimming on his weak side, but doing a strong side kick. Then if he flipped over, that would be basically his strong side. Does that make sense? Because I think personally, the way I set it up is if you are, let me do another one of these. If you are kicking to your, come on now, match up, where are you? Sorry, folks, not sure what's going on. But anyway, if you're kicking, I'm just going to stop sharing right now and figure this out. If you're kicking with your top leg going backwards, that is basically you are on your weak side with a strong side kick. And if you turn it over, you are on your strong side with a weak side kick. So now, yes, I guess you could swim this with your top leg going backwards as long as it's on both sides. There's no real rule to say your top leg has to go forward or backwards. But as long as you are consistent and changing your kick, then you're doing it right. Because where it really matters is when you are swimming longer distances, you switch sides and you actually change the muscles that are used to kick. Your top leg goes forward on one side, your top leg goes forward on the other side. Then you're actually changing your kick when you change sides, and that gives your legs a break. If you're not changing sides and top leg goes forward on one side and your top leg goes backwards on the other side, it's the same kick. So why even change sides? If that makes sense. So that was what we saw there. Some reason, I'm not sure why, my share screen was all jacked up on that last one, but we'll fix it. All right, so let's take some questions and then we'll do another one. So appreciate what you're doing, training for PJ Pipeline. Just finished up my current program, then starting yours. Oh, good. Good luck. That's a good one, man. I have enjoyed working on this one. This one has been a lot of fun. Working with guys that are heading to the pipeline, and I think it's just a great way to serve. So, good job. What's the difference between yours and Jeff's programs? In the big scheme of things, I would say I'm probably more of a volume guy. I definitely run more, swim more, um, more high repetitions. But then again, he does a lot of high repetition stuff too. Look, we go back and forth a lot, and we always look at each other's programs. And I say, in the end, it's not much difference. You get to be good at pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, mile and a half run, swimming, lifting, load bearing activities. He just does it in a little bit different choreography than I do. So I always say I have a way to train, not the only way to train. And Jeff and I are friends. We share each other's websites when we do podcasts. There's a big place in this fitness world for many of us, and I'm I prefer to be buddies and understand. Learn from him. He learns from me. Goes back like that. That's how we do it. So you got to figure out which one works for you. That's pretty much my answer for you. Could you list top 5 weaknesses that are exposed at selection? I already have. I've done 10 of them. If you Google it, in fact, if you Google that term, weaknesses exposed, address your weaknesses now or they will be exposed later. And nope, that's not it. I got a whole bunch of them. Weaknesses exposed, Stu Smith. I'll put this in the your weaknesses will be exposed daily when you try to get through selection. That's what that's called. So, yeah, in here, swimming, being comfortable, hot, cold, wet, sandy, dirty, sleepy, hungry, pain, tired. Strength and durability is a weakness. Endurance, muscle stamina, work capacity. Too big or too small is a weakness. There's a height weight average that usually works well. Maturity, handling negative feedback. Yeah. So this is your answer. As easy as a Google search. I found it. See, Mikhail. Yep, no problem, buddy. We'll be here. It'll be up on YouTube for eternity. So, did I see the recon video with the guys with the boats on their heads and with rucksacks? Yeah, I've seen that. That happens. They also evidently have started running weights on the bottom of a pool. Things evolve. Things get harder. Sometimes you got to take a boat with all your gear to the water. So why wouldn't you ruck it as well as load it up on your head and go? Done it myself. Yesterday, you talked about the problems with going into buds from other branches because of year groups. I tried to access the page that showed the different ranks, but kept getting an error 404. It's on there. I mean, I showed the thing. You just have to look up. Here's the website. My Navy HR. And I'll do this with you. My Navy HR. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in here into the search or into the comment section. Then what you need to do is go into the search feature over on the far right and say Navy SEAL. And then you're going to get the SEAL website section, which is this one right here. And then you scroll down and you say NSW applicants. You can look at, see what's going on with the 4 quarters that's going on. You can look at the community. I think it's called community summary right here. And you need to go to the website and click on it versus trying to click on it from mine. Let me see if I can just cut half of this off. There you go. What I did is I just gave you the long, probably encrypted link. There's the PDF right there. So take a look at it. If you're coming from other branches, could be a risk. But it could work for you. Just depends. I get this pain underneath my ribs when I'm doing runs for time. It's really pushing it when I do easy runs. I can go all day with no discomfort. Is there a fix? Sounds like it's probably like a diaphragm cramp, maybe. Look that up. Focus on your breathing. Big, deep breathing, controlled breathing. If you feel like you're breathing out of control, that's probably going to build up some pressure, and soon you're going to start cramping in your torso. So my suggestion would be try to get in a rhythm of breathing. So when I'm trying to run fast, when I'm trying to run easy, it's usually 3 steps inhale, 2 steps exhale. But if I'm trying to run really fast, it might be 2 steps inhale, 1 step exhale. I mean, it's really fast. Sometimes you might need another step for exhaling. But whatever you do, get in a rhythm. Where people screw up and they start hyperventilating because they're just breathing like out of control. No, doesn't make any sense. Um, that's when people start cramping. So, but also make sure you're not like overhydrating, water's bouncing in your belly. That's another one. I have done that also. Um, do you think your 12 weeks Army SF program is enough to get ready for selection? It depends. I mean, you obviously can't just jump into this program as a beginner and failing all of the abilities tests and PFTs, CFTs. You know, it's a fairly advanced program. So when you say, is it enough? You know, the 2 years prior to that depends on if it's enough. You know, are you actively working out and building a foundation of strength and endurance and stuff? This just peaks you to a level of the specifics of that program. So you're going to be able to focus on the events of the PFT, the CFT, the events of selection, the events of the pipeline. All of those things start focusing on specific events. If you can't handle a 5 mile run for time, for instance, then you need another program before you jump into that. Now, you might not be able to 5 mile run in 35 minutes, but as long as you can run 5 miles and not be dead for 2 weeks afterwards or come up with injuries, then yeah. So, you know, it really depends on your foundation of what you're doing coming into this. You can't come into any of these as a beginner. If you do, you will fall apart. Even phase one is hard. You know, I mean, comparatively, it's challenging. It's if you can't pass the PST, that phase one's a good one for you, but it depends on how close you are to passing and failing the PST. So, good question though. All right, let me show another. Um, Let me show another video before we move on to another question. Hopefully, this one works better. All right. All right. So here we go. Kicking off the wall, a little awkward transition, but it's not bad though. He's on his second stroke already at this yellow marker. I like to try to be a little closer to like your first breath there instead of your second. So that added double arm pull was really helpful. So let's see how it looks though. Pretty good streamline, kind of broaches the surface a little bit, but he's coming up to breathe anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Overall, this is pretty good. You should have seen this guy 2 days before. It was awful. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. This is a second day of CSS training. Who came from out of town with us. And we at least got him to learn the CSS. Yes, what we're doing right now with him is adding in some scissor kick drills, kickboard drills, because his kick's a little weak. Trying to get a little bit better on that snap. He's starting to feel it. I can see it starting to work for him. And then we're also trying to get this top arm pull looking a little bit more like a freestyle catch and fully extended out. Like he could stroke that thing just all the way down, boop, right, and try to push a little more with his tricep on that top arm pull. That top arm stroke could be could grab a little more water. Is all I'm saying. Oh, let me move this comment here. So this went from basically just a whole bunch of flutter kicks to teaching him how to do a single scissor kick. So this, believe it or not, this is really good progress. So, like I said, I don't think I have a video of his first swim, but it was rough. Whew. All right, let's take a few more questions. Looks like those are my comments. Hello, Alex from Texas. Hey Stu, how does attrition rate differ by age? Do younger guys have much higher attrition rate? Yes, they do. Teenagers make up a majority of the attrition. Every class. Um, that's just the way it is. Now, that age somewhere between 20 and 24 is a really good percentage of graduates. That 25 and over, still decent, but there's some fallout on that one as well. So if you were to make a bell curve out of this thing of graduates, it's at 18 to 19 zone is down at the bottom. That 20 to 24 is making up most of the graduation, and then it's the little bit lower, the 25 and above on that other side of the bell curve. That makes sense. What PD shirt is that from? Oh, this is from New York City Police Department's scuba team. So they have a group of public safety divers, and yeah, I just know some guys that work there, worked with some swimming skills and things like that. Did JoJo's son make it through training? I'm not sure who. Oh, Jocko's. I don't know. I haven't heard. I think so. I haven't heard otherwise. Usually, no news is good news. Not sure. Great question from JT. I'm 36 years old, kept in shape, injury free. What have you noticed about older candidates that enter the pipeline? Mindset, fitness, body. Well, they're definitely more mature than the 18-year-old. Twice as mature. Almost. Yeah, they do pretty well as long as they can recover quickly. I think recovery is the hardest part, not necessarily mindset or fitness. I think fitness is going to be pretty universal for anybody that gets into training. It's their ability to recover that is the problem. But I will tell you this: I've had guys who trained with me that were 33 and made it through. They got an age waiver. One of my good friends who retired as a Navy SEAL didn't go to Buds until he was 38 years old. Spent 20 years in the Navy. And I tell you, I went to a Green Beret graduation, and I tell you, I'll tell you two stories in this one because one of my guys, he was working out with us for a while, trying to get to Buds, and he was I think he was a yeoman in the Navy, and they wouldn't release him, and his year group was full, so he couldn't go to Buds even if he was the best candidate ever. And thing is, he was one of the best candidates, and because of his year group and because of his rating, wouldn't let him go. He just finished his enlistment. He finished as an E5 on, let's say, October 31st. November 1st, he was an E5 in the Army, got to miss boot camp for the Army, was in the, infantry school, all that stuff. Afterwards, went to airborne training, then went to SFAS. I went to his graduation when he got his Green Beret. When I was there, I met another at least 20 former Navy guys that had the exact same story. Like they couldn't get to buds for whatever various reason, but they made it through the Green Beret pipeline. Most of the time, it was an administrative reason for that. Met a couple Marine Corps guys that couldn't go to buds; they became Green Berets. Former Marine Corps guys. Uh, but what I bring this up is I also met a guy who was 43 years old getting his Green Beret. So quite impressive. So yes, it can be done for all you older guys out there that want to challenge yourself. That's a great way to challenge yourself for sure. And there are examples for you to try to emulate. Hey, Stu, just wondering your thoughts on true form runner treadmills. Yes, I don't have one, but I've done a few of them when I was at the academy in their fancy weight room. Um, so they're pretty sharp. I do a lot of my fast runs on it because it's most convenient at my gym setup. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Go for it. Since SF book is advanced, do you think the following your tactical fitness preparation for 2 years and that SF prep is a good strategy? Absolutely. If you have 2 years to train, the last thing you need to be doing is jumping into these workouts. I mean, you can do it just to try to get a base and just see where you are, but you need a good system that's going to actually focus on all of your weaknesses spread throughout the year while maintaining any strengths that you have. That's what these are all about here. This fall transition. Right now, we are in the winter lift cycle. Right now, a lot of fun and fall transition. Let's see. I don't know where my spring book is, but we're going to jump into the spring here soon. And by the way, almost feels like spring right now here in January in Maryland. It was actually like almost 50 degrees at 6 a.m., which is I'll take it any day because usually it's below 30, sometimes in the teens. So very happy with that. Joe, I don't know, man. It changes every day. Usually an hour, sometimes half an hour, sometimes 15 minutes. Sometimes you're busier than other days. The HRT guys you train, what was their average age going into that selection? They were all in their 30s. I'd say between 32, 35. All right, so it looks like I caught up with all the questions. If I missed one, just let me know. Post it again. I'm going to share a swim. I think I got a swim with fins this time, and I got a lot to fix on this one. So let's see how this one looks. Come on. What's wrong with this? All right, now I figured it out. Damn, stupid. All right, so, okay. So whenever I am in a pool, now most of your swims at Buds will not be in a pool. However, some of them will be. And if you're ever forced to swim in a pool with fins, try this to build up some momentum. Instead of kicking off the wall and see how he's really slow right there, just doing these little motorboat and flutter kicks on his belly, do it with a kick off the wall as best you can and just go right into a dolphin kick. Do 2 or 3 dolphin kicks. That gets your momentum going, and then you can go right into this cycle. So the problem he has here is when you wear fins, you don't want to be on your belly like that. See how his heels and feet are coming out of the water? It may not look like much, but that is going to wreck your hamstrings. I mean, your hamstrings will start cramping. You know, if you do this for 20, 30 minutes, you're going to start cramping pretty good. So, this is kind of like freestyle swimming. You know, some of the challenges with freestyle swimming with big scuba fins on. Um, so, you want to be on your side and do a scissor kick and then just stay on your side and just keep flutter kicking in between, or you can do constant flutter kicks. You don't even have to do a scissor kick. But he's got the right timing right. How he's just doing like 3 kicks and then he uses his arms to breathe. He could be a little more streamlined with his arm recovery. But yeah, basically what you're trying to do is just constantly kick and use your arms to regulate your breathing. Now, I'm going to show you. I thought I was going to show you another guy. Yeah, here you go. Watch this. He kicks off the wall, couple dolphin kicks, dolphin kick. Now he's going. So that's kind of a night and day approach to kicking off the wall. Dolphin kick goes right into a scissor kick, and you see he's got a little momentum going. Compared to him, just looks like he was like just puttering off the wall. I mean, that looks like slow motion. So you can build up some momentum real quick with a quick dolphin kick and transition um, into constant flutter kicks. But the goal here is stay on your side. Don't be on your belly when you do the CSS with fins. And just use your arms to breathe. Constant flutter kicks. I usually try to get in a rhythm of like 3 kicks per breath. And then use my arms whenever I need to breathe. Let's see. Do seals eat before swimming or create stomach cramps? No, that's a huge myth. Huge myth. You should eat before any massive event. Because if you're going to be wasting a lot of energy, or I shouldn't say wasting, using a lot of energy in the pool, running, carrying boats, you're going to want to have a full stomach. Because when you're at Buds, you're not only eating for energy, you're eating for the ability to keep yourself warm. So never skip a meal. Never. And always have snacks. You need snacks spread throughout the day too. I always kept snacks in my locker. I'd keep a Ziploc bag in my pants, and whenever I had a minute, I would take a honey packet or grab an apple, banana, whatever. Yeah. All right, let's keep on going. I got some more videos here. Let me see if I can share this one without screwing it up like I have been. Yep, still screwing it up. There you go. So kick off the wall. Yeah, awkward double arm pull, but he came up way past that marker there. That's pretty good. So we got a top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. That's good. Staying on your side, not rolling over too soon. Just don't kick the lady behind you. Good turnaround. It could be a little faster on the turnaround. Keep your head down when you kick off. See how that broach happened right there? Yeah, you basically almost stopped on that kickoff. You don't want to lose that kind of momentum off the wall. So you got a good scissor kick, top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide, kind of roll over a little bit while you're gliding. And that was pretty good. That's like a 50 something second, 52, yeah, probably 51, 52 second 50 there. So that's not too bad. Let's see what this one is. I got one more here. Oh, I already showed that one. Let's see. I don't think I showed this one yet. Yeah, no more questions still. So I will move on to the next next video. How's that? Oh, damn. See, screwed that up again. All right, let's do this. There we go. Oof. I can critique freestyle. I'm decent at freestyle, but I'm also not a freestyle coach. So let's watch this again. Looks like his kickoff was really good. Here's something I always like to look at to make sure you guys are getting some momentum off the wall, because I promise you, you will never be faster than you are than off this wall and 5 yards away from it. Everything else, it slows down. And depending on your streamline ability, your ability to recover tightly, and your kick and pull, you're going to lose momentum from this wall kick. The goal is try not to lose much or any. So kick off the wall. That's a really good kickoff. No, see how fast he is? That's really good. And his head's down, streamlined, one hand on top of the other, arms straight. Really good. Can't get better than that. There's where it's okay. The transition was all right. He didn't lose any momentum. Could be better though. So what do we got here? We got a top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. It's not too bad. It just feels a little bit clunky where it could be a little smoother between the top arm and the bottom arm. And definitely that transition or turning around could be better. That needs to be a lot faster. So, all right. So we change the side. Let's see what this looks like. So we got a top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Yeah, it just seems like from here, see how he just kind of like there's a pause there. Like you don't need to pause that much in between your top arm and your bottom arm. They don't need to go together, but they could be a little faster. It's almost like he's just swimming in slow motion. So the difference between going fast and going slow, and I would classify this as pretty slow. That was a 56-second 50, which isn't horrible. I mean, I try to get everybody down to a 50-second 50 just to be in the 8-minute zone versus the 9-minute zone. Anything over 54 seconds is going to be a pace of 9 minutes or more. So that's what I'm trying to avoid when I'm teaching it. So I think he needs to pull harder, needs to kick harder, and I think the transition from whenever he gets that first arm down and that second arm and inhale could just be a little smoother. My advice would be to watch some videos, and if you need some ideas to watch some videos, guess where you can go? You can go to TikTok.com. Now, you don't necessarily need this app if you don't like the app on your phone, which I get it. Just go to the website. It's a perfectly working website. They're not in your phone. They're not finding out your data. You can go to the um, what's that incognito style on TikTok if you want, and just go to Stu Smith 50, and you'll see a ton of really good videos on the CSS. Some I would consider near perfect. In fact, let me just share this with you. If you've never been over there, I highly recommend it. I have well over 100 videos now over there. As you can see, oh, this is that kid from day one. Oh, check this out. You'll like this. I made a real funny video here. So this is him. First time. And 24 hours later, this is him. Boom, night and day. Still got that awkward little kick that I was working on. Remember me talking? I showed a video of him earlier. So yeah, that was some good progress. I was impressed with his ability to make that progress. So let's I like this one. This
Hey
is a
everybody,
really
Stu Smith with
smooth
another CSS critique, and this is
swim
an
here.
excellent,
Guys
smooth,
sent this one
streamlined
in.
kickoff transitions
What I
into
like
the
about
stroke.
it is it's just
This is
nice and
great.
streamlined.
Top arm,
I think
bottom
he's a
arm,
swimmer too.
kick, hold
So he's
that
got a good
glide.
top
Top arm,
arm,
bottom arm. We get one
kick,
Mississippi,
holds
two
that
Mississippi.
glide,
Pull.
and he's still moving
Yeah, man, he's fast.
while he's gliding for 3
Turn
seconds.
around, good
You can
turnaround.
count
You know,
these
you only have to
Mississippis
touch
here
one
whenever
hand to the wall
he
instead of
makes that
two. It's not a
transition into the
competitive
kick.
turnaround
One
rule.
Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
So
Pull.
whichever hand touches that wall first,
Yeah.
go ahead and turn around.
Yeah, this is really fast too. This is
yeah, I don't have anything
it's about a
to fix on this. This is just
42-second,
really fast.
43
I mean,
second.
you're looking at 7:30 pace right
50,
there.
right there.
With
So
that 50,
in fact, he swims 100
get
in
an
a
extra
minute
50 here to
26.
talk. Top arm, bottom arm,
So
kick.
that's well under a 7:30
Pull,
pace.
breathe, kick
So if
and
you're
glide.
looking for some really good videos
you say whatever
to just show you the way, check out that TikTok page. If you don't like TikTok, I also put them up on my Instagram in my Reels section. Same address, Stu Smith 50. You can find them over there. And then I have some older CSS videos up on this YouTube channel. If you haven't seen those, check those out. They're pretty good. It was a lot of times it was before the iPhone came out with their good video camera. So some of them are like old video cameras where had to go through the whole process of downloading them and uploading them and editing them, whereas the phone has took out all of that hassle. Let's see. How do you improve how long you can hold your breath for? I don't really practice that. Some people do. There's some CO2 tables you can play around with, but one, don't do it alone in the water, period. Don't, if you're going to do it on dry land. Um, and if you really want to swim well underwater, work on your technique, your kicks, your pulls, your glides, because what I try to do, and I can still do a 50-meter underwater swim, is I get across a 25-yard pool in about 4 or 5 strokes max. I think I do 5 going down because you can't kick off the wall, and I do 4 coming back. So in a 50-yard swim, I'm only pulling and kicking 9 times. Now, they're 9 separate times because you got 2 units of propulsion whenever you're swimming underwater. You got a double arm pull and you got a kick and a tight arm recovery to make that glide a little bit longer. You can throw in a dolphin kick in there too. I think I throw a few dolphin kicks in there right before I do the double arm pull every stroke, and that extends your glide a little bit, probably cuts the stroke off. But the goal is to do it in as few strokes as possible. Where people screw up is it's taking them 10, 12 strokes to get across 25-yard pool because they're just like they're just overworking. So now they're super winded because that's what it does to you, makes you super winded and you can't swim underwater as long. So once you learn efficiency in underwater swimming, you'll be able to do a 50-meter underwater swim. And I will tell you this, don't practice it alone. People die every year trying to practice that one by themselves. Pass out underwater, it happens. You're dead if you're by yourself. Even if you're with somebody. They might be saying, wow, he can really hold his breath a long time and just sit there and look at you, which that's not a good thing to do. When somebody quits moving underwater, you should jump in after them and pull them up to the surface. And if he jumps up laughing, says, oh man, I was just trying to hold my breath, then no big deal. You just ruined his breath hold. Big deal. Instead of ruining his life. Take that seriously, folks. I'm serious. All you got to do is Google underwater breath hold drowning, and you'll see a dozen of them. And it's a shame. A lot of them are spec ops candidates as well. Oh, let's see. I do need to head out a little bit early today. Does anybody have any questions for me? I got a couple more I probably have time for. Um, if I did miss your question, however, just send it to me, stu@stewsmith.com, and I will answer it personally. If you have videos to send me, send it to that email, or you can DM me in Instagram DMs, StewSmith50. If you are going to send me a video, though, make sure somebody's walking alongside the pool deck with you, because if you just leave the phone in one spot, I might be able to see a stroke or two, and then after that, it's just looking at a pool in your elbow coming up out of the surface. So here's what I want you to do. If you can't see yourself swimming, don't send it to me. I don't have time to say, hey, I can't see anything. Let's see. So you guys check out StewSmith50, or I'm sorry, StewSmithFitness.com. If you got questions about more articles, I got hundreds of articles over there that are pretty good on the weaknesses side and the mental toughness side, the CSS videos and podcast links, and you name the topic. I've probably written about it over there. But if I haven't, send me an email and I will answer it more specifically for you. All right, let's end with a weird question. So he starts off, this is a weird question. When doing the swimmers on the PT reset, I end up crushing my nuts. Is it bad form or is it nut destruction part of it? No, nut destruction is not part of it. You have to um, try to flex your back and butt so your that part of your um, torso is not taking the brunt of the swimmer. Um, I think your hip bones should probably feel it the most. Maybe get on a better padded floor. That might be helpful. But your thighs should be clearing the floor when you're doing those swimmers. So swimmers are just little flutter kicks, but you're on your belly, just like you're doing freestyle. Um, yeah, your stomach and hip bones should feel it more than your nuts. So you're right. That is a weird question, but not horrible. Okay, one last one, slightly off topic one. Last time you spoke about running 20, 25 miles a week. Let's say you do 5 miles a day, do all the 5 mile runs at six. Do you run all 5 mile runs at 6 to 7 minute mile and do sets or all at once but slow? My recommendation is check out this article, Running Plan to and through selection. And it has a really good system of workouts. Like Monday is goal pace, so 6 to 7 minute mile pace. Tuesday is a moderate distance mixed with speed intervals, hills, sand, stairs. Wednesday is a good goal pace, longer distances, sometimes mix in some non-impact cardio middle of the week. You could do that Thursday as well, either or, depending on where you're feeling. But yeah, check out this article. Friday is lungs and legs, so it's soft sand, hills, stairs, calisthenics. Saturday's longer distance mixed with sets of timed runs and goal pace and sprints. So check out this and you'll get multiple answers to how you break up your 5 or 6 days of running every week. But yeah, 5 miles a day is not a big deal. Um, but you just don't want to do 5 miles a day slowly. You don't want to do them all like sprint intervals, and you don't want to do them all at goal pace intervals. You want to mix it up. Variety is the key. So check out that article. You'll see a way to break up those 5 miles a day into different sets, into different types of running, different energy systems, and will help you just build a better running base for you. So, all right, folks. Well, that was pretty good. Yeah, don't forget more CSS critiques over on TikTok, but like I said, I got a bunch of them over on Instagram Reels as well. But yeah, I appreciate your time, appreciate your questions, and let me know by email or DM, how I can assist with helping you get a little better at swimming. Until next week, you guys have a good one.